call the meeting to order for Thursday, January 17th. Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Spence?
Here.
Mrs. Foreman's absent. Administrator?
Present.
Mayor?
Here.
Solicitor is absent. Fiscal officer is present. Mr. Merriman's absent. Mr. Mattern?
Here.
Mr. Dakin?
Here.
Everyone, please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have the minutes before you from our previous meeting of January 8th. Motion be in order to approve.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Persons appearing to speak before council tonight, we welcome Ms. Tricia Maple from the Jefferson County Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. I'm not really here to speak. I'm just making my rounds to different village councils and city councils this year, so
Okay.
I'm here if you need me.
All right. Thank you so much. Reading of ordinances. You have ordinance number 2019-02 before you. An ordinance eliminating frozen sick time and paying out frozen sick time that is owed to both current and past village employees. That is the first read. We'll have the second and third and final approval at our next meeting. Reports and announcements. Unfortunately, Council President is not here tonight. Committees need to be approved for tonight. My question would be, if the floor doesn't have issue with, is that we would approve the same committees as we had in 2018. If there's no objection, a motion would be in order.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakin?
Yay.
Thank you. Also, you had the rules of council. Does anybody object? We'd like to approve those tonight. Motion be in order.
So moved. Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakin?
Yay.
Thank you. Administrative report.
First item on the list is the infrastructure report. I wanted to go over that briefly with everyone. At the first tab are current village personnel. I may be one off on the police department, but as you can see, there's at least one vacancy there. We still have one vacancy in the water department. Second page on that is basically a total employee seniority list. And I don't want to sound unpolitically correct, but you know, we have, looks like 7 or 8 employees there that were working from the last century here. So just want to point that out. So again, we're at least 2 shy from having a full force on all departments. Next one, which would be most of interest to all of you, is our street and road section. As you can see, the pages are getting filled up fairly well. We're nearly through one cycle. This year we'll be doing Meadowbrook and Squirrel Hill, possibly a little bit of Fernwood. And then for 2020, we have Fernwood scheduled, possibly Grove Street. The only other one, and would be part of Luray Drive, the second part. The only other one that would not be done is Two Ridge Road. Generally, we would go in combination with a Jefferson County engineer on that one, and I don't know when Jim has it scheduled. Haven't spoke to him, but I would assume it'd be a little ways down the future. Yes.
On back to the first page on Meadowbrook Drive. I see concrete here. Are you talking that's going to be asphalt, right?
No, it's going to be asphalt. That's concrete curb.
Okay, curb.
Yeah,
Okay.
but no, it will be asphalt. It'll look the same as Beechwood did, what we
Okay.
did this past
I
year.
just wanted to make
Fix
sure.
Cross Street, because this is no longer concrete. You have that.
Yes.
That needs fixed.
I'll have to change those, and probably Beechwood also. Yes, I will change
Yes,
those.
just
Correct.
fix those, because
Okay.
we switched those over.
Correct, will do. The next item you can see is our plan going forward. after 2020, we're having Caddis Road program through BHJ and ODOT. It is on the federal aid secondary. I'm not sure yet if it'll be 21 or 22. Those may switch. We paved that in 2004, my first year here, for $329,000. The engineer's estimate now to pave Caddis Road is $764,000. A little bit of an increase. You can see this schedule goes through 2032. 2032, I'll be 80 years old, and that's absolutely my last year here. No more contract. Okay.
80 years old. Oh.
Just want to get that straight.
We'll still negotiate that. But let's go back to 2025 while you're a little younger.
Okay.
Main Street's not going to last. We need to get with the
No.
state because it's not going to last that long.
Main Street
It's
was,
bad now.
Yeah, this is on our 17-year schedule. It was last paved in 2007. They had been on a 14-year schedule, so it may get bumped up to 2021. I'll have Mr. Locker check that at the
Yeah,
next
so see what we can
BHJ
do.
meeting and talk to them.
Thank you.
The next page beyond that, I think you've seen some of these before. Historical paving cost. You can see from 2004 and up to 2018 what we've paid. Basically, for the same amount of money, you can see by the chart below, we're getting a 1/3 less in 2018 than we did in 2004. Or if you look at that conversely, it's going to take us 3 times as long to do the same amount of paving if our funding stays the same. So asphalt costs have gone up, and there's been no corresponding increase in other funds. Next page is, again, an older graph chart, salt cost. I picked, well, at the time it was the best year. Actually, we've had a little bit lower price in 2017 and 18 of $42.98 a ton instead of 44. So that would be a little bit larger pile, and you can see the highest cost was in 2014-15, $105 a ton, and for the same amount of money, you don't get very much salt.
How'd you make the graph and get these dots on the graph? Okay.
Don't give him a hard time.
Old-fashioned.
All right.
Again, there's annual unit prices of both salt and asphalt through the years. You can see the salt's bunched around, and it's gone up and down, and it stayed fairly much the same on an average. The asphalt's just gone continuously up. I mean, it's dropped a year or two, but it's always gone up. Some of that's due to oil price. Obviously, the other is due to labor. Historical, next page, salt purchases. There's 7 years worth of data there. So you're looking at an average, we buy 1,400 ton a year. We always shoot for 1,500 depending on the weather, and sometimes we get a little more, a little less. And you can see what it cost us. Through some of the years, we've paid over $100,000. Otherwise, down around $60,000 or so. So it is a good hit to the budget, but our guys do an excellent job of keeping the roads open and passable.
Yes, they do.
Next page is our public works vehicles by department. This is through 2018. Down at the backhoe's the one with the star. That replaced the backhoe we purchased in 2005. You can see a $26,000 increase in 10 years. And same with the 1-ton dump truck at the top of the next column. It replaced number 29, and there's a $30,000 increase in price there. The next page is what I give to the insurance company, that same listing, but it has all our VIN numbers on it, so they're very happy to see that, plus the original purchase price, everything we could find, so that's a benefit for both of us there. That takes care of the street part. Next sheet, behind tab 3, is our water. See, 2018, we had 15 water breaks. That's right on, we have a 10-year average below there. You can see for the 10 years, we hit 153 breaks, so 15.3 a year. We were right on average. We already had 2 breaks this year. We're just getting started. So Next item is just our utility rates for water, sewer, and refuse. Again, those are published, but just in case anyone has any questions, those are standard. And finally is the Knowles 2 water line project. Still waiting from the federal people to get the project agreements for both the block grant and the ARC monies. You can see we're doing 4 streets there in Knowles Phase 2, 7,926 feet of water line. That will put us, when this project is complete, we'll have replaced just over 22,000 feet of water line, about 4.2 miles. So we're improving as we go, along with hydrants and new service connections and the meters. 2020, it'll be 10 years since we had our water tank painted. We would be due for an inspection in 2020, so I'll be getting a cost on that. It should be minimal. We should be good for another 5 years or so with the paint job.
It's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years, yes.
What about the lighting on that? When is that lighting fixed?
I forget if we put that in the budget or not. I have an old cost, I'll have to
Okay.
get a new cost for that. And then, again, on the radar is the complete radio read meters, and we're getting cost on that. We'll talk about that. Behind sheet 4 is our sewer project. I know Brad had asked me about some of the breakdown on these costs. The first was the Beechwood Floyd system. That was done in about 2007 or 8. That was all our funds. You can see everything's been completed above the amount of grants we've received, the 0% loan and the 1% loans. Phase 4, I have it still active. We're holding a little over $300,000, waiting for the as-built drawings. That will be closed out. And then Phase 5 is pending. We're looking at getting a $500,000 grant, a $500,000 0% loan, and then we're going to apply for the 1% loan. So that'll happen later this spring, and we may go to construction by late fall on that or early next year. And then finally, page 5, tab 5, is our total capital improvements since 2004. What's highlighted in yellow, I did not add into the totals since those are projects for 2019. But you can see we've spent nearly $5 million on the street end of things, $2 million on water line, hydrant replacement, the water line replacement, the tank rehab, telemetry building, the sewer projects, $10 million. And again, on all those sewer projects, we've had no increase in rates to the residents. We've been able to do that with grants, our existing rate structure, and the 0%, 1% loans. The sanitation, the refuse compactor, we put that in a few years ago. The restroom is nearly complete. We're just waiting on a final inspection on it down below. And the new equipment purchases, we're at $1.4 million. The couple items we just bought, and we just received the sewer pickup today, and Vern's dump truck, which we ordered last year, will be coming in. That'll add about another $200,000 worth of equipment, so we'll have purchased about 1.6 in new equipment. You add all that stuff in for the end of 2019, we'll be at roughly $23.1 million in capital improvement costs since 2004. That's all I have there. Oh, well, that's not all I have. That's all I have for that.
Any questions?
You said those last 2 figures you just said, that's going on the 18, or is that going on the 19?
19.
Okay.
I'll go on 19.
All right.
Was recently made aware of an ODOT program. It's a Transportation Alternative Program. It's a program, it can't be road related, but you could do sidewalks and curbs and possibly storm sewer. It's a 95% grant. We have to go through BHJ since we're in the MPO. We can't go on our own. I'll be talking with Mike Propaki about that. Don Quixel from Quixel's and Associates put me on to this. They're willing to do some of the legwork on the beginning of it. It probably would be bid out through ODOT if we did receive it. It's 2 to 3 years down the road. So that's something I'll be working on here in the near future. Also, just so the residents are aware, we do have a snow removal ordinance out there, that there shall be no parking on the municipality during snow removal from November 1st through March the 15th. Residents must remove their parked cars or there will be a fine. It's unsafe for the residents' vehicles. It's extremely unsafe for our drivers to go down through some of the narrow streets and try and plow around vehicles, particularly if it gets icy, and also then you're plowing some vehicles in, and then people get upset about that. But nearly everyone has a driveway, and we would encourage the residents when it snows to get your vehicles off the street and into your driveways, please.
Question. On these permits, I don't know if we still give them out or not, the ones that...
That's up to the police department.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with us. And I don't think there's been any requests for several years, to my knowledge.
Okay.
The only other item I had, and Jason may know a little bit more about this, Mr. Lockhart asked me that the village reappoint him to the RETA board, to the BHJ board, and to the fire district. I'm assuming his term is up.
Are
now.
both of your terms up at the fire district?
I don't know, because didn't we just do mine
I thought we
about a
did.
couple?
About 2 months ago.
About 2 months ago.
Yeah, so I thought so.
But I know Bob is very anxious to serve on them continually, so I would put forth the motion to have Bob serve on all them. Bob does a real good job there at the fire district, and we know what he does here for us for Reed and BHJ. So in all seriousness, I have no problem extending that reappointment for Mr.
Is
Locke.
that a motion you make, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
That's not necessary.
Unnecessary?
That's not necessary.
You're right.
Okay,
Those are my appointments,
okay.
and he'll be appointed, all right? The fire district is the council appointment, but BHJ and Rita are my appointments, and he will be appointed again, okay? All right.
One more question. What's the ordinance for the snow removal parking? What's the cost of that ticket if you get one?
$25. I don't believe it's been updated. It's $25. And well, I don't know that we've ever towed them. We have talked about towing people if they don't move their cars during paving. I don't know if anything's ever been towed here, but they would be responsible for the towing fee and storage fee also. That would be a chief question, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
So, again, it really comes down to some of these streets that aren't very wide. We try to get down, and some are in hills, and we have to get back up out of them. On some of the curves. Yeah, I just, again, we've asked the police to review those streets, and we don't want to fine people, but again, the public safety is paramount. And our employees is paramount, their safety, and trying to get those trucks up and down those roads. So it just seems like it's always the same people, unfortunately. So we don't want to ticket them, but we will have to start to. And if there is an accident because of their car, they're liable for that as well. So that's really the bigger problem, if something occurs.
And what you just said, that's what I want to ask the chief. Do we have any permits out there where people are parking on the streets when they're plowing snow? Because he said there's going to be an accident, there's going to be a liability on somebody. I want to make sure there's not going to be a liability in the village.
In my tenure as chief, we have not given, nobody has asked for a variance, and we have not given out any variances in the 3 years I've been chief.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
There's no, I'm sorry.
Any questions for the administration? Seeing none, we'll move on. There are no unfinished business. New business, Mr. Martin.
No new business.
Mr. Spence.
Yes, you asked me last week, since I believe that the mayor's chief, or...
County
is it-
court.
What's that?
County Court.
County court's not going to move here, that we're going to reevaluate, I guess, the cost to get the microphones and things replaced here because it's aging. And in front of you, you have two estimates, one for $1887.86 and one for $1983.99, which will replace all the microphones, all the bases for the microphones. They replace a coax cable. Right now, Keith has to run one down the hallway every time we have a meeting. It's going to be put in the ceiling, run back to the camera, and there's just going to be an outlet back here to plug his camera in.
Okay, so I see the two. The one seems to be a lot more specific of
Right,
what
they're
they're
both the
doing.
same, though, but yes.
Okay, that's just, I can't tell if they were both the
Right.
same or not.
Yeah.
Itemize it better.
So between you and Keith that have done this research, what is your recommendation?
I say we go with the Center of Music and Art.
Okay, I like that. All right.
Yeah, I like it too, because they were a line item specific on what they're doing.
Yeah, okay. So a motion be in order to replace the microphones and the mounts and everything and do this service by the Center of Music and Arts for a total not to exceed $1,900.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Morton?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dekenkop?
Yay. Yay.
Thank you. They give a time frame?
No, I'll get with Keith.
Okay,
and-
all right. We have a few weeks before the next meeting, so if we can do it,
What are we
that'd
going
be
to do with the old mics?
great. Keith will decide.
Keith, I believe there were 1 or 2 new mics that we were going to keep for spares, but everything's going to be replaced.
Okay, and the ones that we should be, are we keeping all of them?
As far as I
Between
know,
Keith-
yeah.
Keith will figure that out.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, he's don't have nothing.
he's a videographer.
He's a
I
technical
understand,
guy.
but who owned these mics?
Pardon?
Who owned these?
We do, but if they're
Okay.
not going to be compatible, we'll figure it
Well,
out.
if we're going to, two of them are
Administratively, we'll figure it out.
Okay, I want to make sure.
All right.
We're not giving nothing away, it's on.
No. All right. Anything else, Mr. Spence?
Walt, this is a good infrastructure report. It's a good go-to book, for council. It'll help us answer a lot of questions the public has.
Thank you. You should put your name on it.
He'll autograph them later on.
Yeah. Ms. Jean Angel, anything?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Matter?
Yeah, I got a couple things in top, it is a nice report, Walt. Congratulations, very informative.
The graphics really stand out.
Yeah, graphics really stand out, but it really is a good
Leave me
job.
alone.
The finance meeting, February 7th at 6 PM. We'll discuss the village employee wage benefit packages. Tonight, we just ran out of time. We owe this the fair amount of time. We just couldn't get to it tonight during the finance meeting. Also, new business, based on the fact that there was a house previously existing at 134 Ellsworth, the Water and Sewer Committee recommends that they be charged $1,000 to tap in, and we would like to bring that up to the floor to vote.
Motion be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dekenkop?
Yay.
Anything else, sir?
That's it, thank you.
Did
Thank you.
we finalize the scheduling of the next finance meeting?
He just did.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
February
6 p.m.
7th at 6 p.m.
6, okay.
Jason,
Didn't hear
what's the
that.
address again? Ellsworth?
134.
134.
134, thank you.
Mr. Degenkop?
Art, you might have mentioned it. I was looking through the report. Great job. Did we get our new hot patch and roller
We did, and we've already used it.
Yeah, I see them.
and good feedback from how it works?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Cross Creek Township's looking into buying one.
Yes. Just so,
Do we get a commission if they buy one?
The only thing is now, there's a lot of potholes now, so it's taking a little longer. We wish we would have maybe bought the next bigger size. But since we're fairly compact, it's working out so far. Once we get this first round done, I think it'll work a little smoother. But
And-
they took it out for both the patch and the roller.
And it's better with the roller, not this giant mound of
Yes.
patch.
It
Awesome.
looks good.
Great.
yeah, if you look at Main Street, I know they passed quite a bit going from eastbound to westbound on Main Street from that's the beginning of town. I think they got the Kroger's. That holds about, 2 ton?
2 ton.
And it takes about 2 hours to warm up. Okay, so it took us a little longer to get it because we set it up so we could put a timer on it. So they could load it, set the timer so it starts warming up. So when they get there in the morning, it's ready to go. So once they're done with the morning, then they have to take it back, reload it. It takes a couple hours to warm up the cold patch again. So they can do it again in the afternoon. So basically, when the weather cooperates, we'll be doing, a couple hours in the morning and a couple in the afternoon. Like Walt said, once we get caught up, you know what I mean, it won't be so bad.
Yeah,
But we're a little bit behind right now. But listen, we'll see here in another month or so if what we patch stays patched.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be the sign. But so far, I mean, it's going to happen.
Because they've
It's
already
working.
plowed over it once before,
Yeah,
that's been an
it'd be
issue.
out.
Just
So-
stayed in.
It's
so.
going to be huge, huge benefit. I mean,
Great.
all around. So I'm
Great.
appreciative.
Great.
Anything
Awesome.
else?
That's all.
Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
There's no transfers. Need a second to pay the bills.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Maturin?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Motion to adjourn until February 7th, 7 PM. Whoa, pardon. You say something?
I just
Go ahead.
wanted to announce, I don't have it in front of
7
me, about
p.m.
the Columbia Gas meeting next Thursday here. It's at
What, 6 o'clock, Columbia Gas meeting, Thursday at 6 o'clock. So what is the date?
It's on the 24th.
24th, yeah.
24th, 6 o'clock.
And that is to discuss garden?
It'll be Garden, Canton Road and Garden, and then Orchard Place, Orchard Street, Locust, and
Okay,
Roberts.
they've already started on Canton, so if you've been out there,
It'll be here.
be careful.
Upstairs,
Yeah, be upstairs. Okay, perfect.
Thanks, sorry.
That's okay. Motion to adjourn until February 7th, 7 PM.
I already made that motion.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, meeting adjourned.